Welcome to Chefs with Soul, the show where music and food, cooking and culture, gathering, eating, and good conversation come together just like a perfect roux. For today's show, I'm lucky to have not one, but two culinary guests. Sisters, in fact. One sister, Alejandra, combining her love for both arts and sweets, decided to study at the French pastry school in Chicago, and then continued her work under the guidance of master bakers and pastry chefs that were world-renowned. Her sister, Cristina, gained experience working in coffee and pastry shops all over Europe. The sisters set out to create a place here in Jackson where they could share their rich, tasty cultural experiences with their friends and neighbors, and then opening the very popular La Brioche. Welcome, Cristina and Alejandra.
Thank you for having us.
I also have the great pleasure of introducing Justin Ransburg. Justin is an artist whose work has helped enliven parts of Jackson's crafts district called Midtown and far beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Justin Ransburg. Justin, good to have you here. So, Cristina, Alejandra, I picked up from your accents, y'all aren't from here.
No, we are not. Good observation.
Where did you start?
We were born in Argentina. None of our parents are Argentinian. My mom is from Uruguay, my father from Peru. They met in Argentina in the 70s. And they, long story short, they moved to Miami from Argentina. I was 11, she was 10.
So you're the older sister?
I'm the older sister.
I've always wanted to ask that, I was afraid to.
Okay, now you know. Don't I look younger?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's
So you moved to Miami.
We moved to Miami. I did my all schooling there, some of my college, and then in that meantime, I moved to Sweden.
Okay.
And Alejandra,
I was trying to figure out life, basically. So I started to travel a little bit, trying to see what it was. Because I went to a design school I thought I wanted to be an architect at first, yeah. And once I actually started doing that, I was like, no, I like art, but not so mechanical. Okay. So one day it kind of hit me. I'm like, well, if I love sweets so much, why don't I do this as a career? So that's when I decided to go to Chicago.
So you went to French pastry school up in Chicago, famous place, and had a chance to really refine what I guess is called the Viennese style, which is kind of some of the stuff you have in your cases. You have pastries that are very different.
So yeah, it's a French-based pastries, what we do, because that's my skill base. I do throw a little bit of Argentinian flair in them. But it's a lot of them are entremets and petit gâteaux, which is what I really like to make, and what I really wanted to introduce to Mississippi, because we wanted to bring something new, at least to this city.
And for those of us that might be just slightly culturally challenged, an entremet.
It was, but we always love that challenge. So yeah.
So what would you define that product as being when you say
So entremets are moused layer cakes. So they have a lot of different combinations of flavors, textures, and that's what I love the most. Is you'll start when you take that first bite, you'll start with one flavor and then end up with completely different flavor and texture, and it's like 2 or 3 desserts all in one.
Great artistry.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the artist, but I think I do tell from your dialect. You're like me, you're from Jackson.
I am.
Maybe Presidential Hills?
I don't know how you knew that, but yes.
You know, got a card. Tell me a little bit about growing up.
Okay, so growing up in Presidential Hills, it was a bit of a challenge because I knew early on that I wanted to get into visual art. And like you mentioned earlier, I was introduced to art by my older brother, Maurice, and he's 10 years older than me. So one day I asked him to draw a picture for me. And being the good older brother, he told me, no, go do it yourself. And I was like, okay, I'm like 6 or 7 at the time. So I take the picture that I asked him to draw, and I go and try it out myself, and I bring it back to him, and he gives me an honest critique on it, like, oh, okay, this is good, but this line should go this way rather than that way.
Wow.
And going from there, I would find people in school that were also interested in art. So that kept my interest going throughout high school, well, from elementary to middle to high school. And by the time I was a senior at Callaway, I knew that I wanted to make this a career. So that led me to go to Texas Southern in Houston to study graphic design originally, but then because of the program, it changed to painting.
Really? So you're pretty much self-taught through your childhood.
Right.
Taking the fact that you're self-taught and comparing it to Alejandra and having the French Pastry Academy and all of those, world-class, really strict. My partner went to culinary school and he told me all about the guys. They're tough. They're tough. And probably you had to repeat, and you're having to repeat from within. So this two artists with very different paths, and I can tell you as a Jacksonian that this market is consuming both of your products. Alejandra, your restaurants, and much in fact because Cristina's in the front, always running a great business, your restaurants are very successful, and you're opening a third, and you've done it in a very short period of time. It took Dan and me 20 years to do that. You are showing up all over the side of buildings, Justin. Public art is a big movement right now in Jackson, and you are in a couple of very interesting areas. One, the Midtown area, which is a crafts area, a lot of building and a lot of craftsmen down there, and the other here in Fondren, where we're shooting this show, kind of the arts and entertainment district. So the community is saying yes. So what does it feel like to be an artist in this community, and where do you get, who are your peers and who do you get energy from in order to do what you do each day?
Well, like you said, the community is saying yes, so that's kind of like the fuel for us. They want it, we want to do it, we want to share, so here it is.
We were quite skeptical at the beginning. That's why we started at the farmer's market.
To test the water.
Because we were not sure. Because our product is very different and it's not traditional from Mississippi, and that's something that we sort of learned, that Mississippi still has a lot of tradition and roots, and we were a bit afraid of not fitting in, but
You got a Napoleon sitting next to a pecan pie at the farmer's market, and which one's going to sell,
yes,
right?
And that's why we did a lot of sampling at our tables. And then when people tried it with no commitment, that sort of broke the ice a little bit. And they realized that little by little that people are ready for new things. They just don't know it yet. I think that.
Give her the credit because she's the face of it.
You're in the basement.
Yeah, I'm in the basement, exactly.
Literally in the
but
basement.
I think that's a good place for me because
I'm the people's person.
You took, for the benefit of our audience, they took a very small space and they used the upstairs for retail and they baked downstairs, like a lot of places in large cities would do. So Justin, inspiration and doing the art, and so one thing is you've created, you're self-published. You've got your own line of comic books, and also a storyline about the methodology of your art, what you do and how you do it. So talk a little bit about how you came to this, talk about where you get inspiration, share with me your story.
Okay, so when I returned to Jackson from Houston, originally I did not want to be back home because I had gotten so used to being in Houston and I was so determined, like, I'm gonna make it here, I'm gonna figure it out. But coming back home was actually what I needed because one of the first people that I met was a man named Mitch Davis. And he's like a local photographer. He helps people that want to get into modeling and things of that nature. He happened to be there one day, and we got into a conversation, and I was like, well, what should I do? Or, where should I go? Or what should I look into? And he was just a wellspring of information. He's like, looked into Jackson Free Press, do this, do that, do that. And at first, it was a little off-putting, like, okay, why is this person so nice? But that's because I had been in Houston for a number of years. And
I got the same experience. I'm like, am I about to get mugged here?
Yeah, because people
are just nice.
People in Mississippi are way nicer than
yes, they are.
For. And people like Mitch, Philip Rollins, the owner of Offbeat, he's been pretty instrumental in helping me to figure out my way as an artist, so to say.
I did know that you had a ability to do a subject matter study in me, but I found a picture of me. See, I'm there in the restaurant, and I'm really thinking, very deeply about things. And I'm very skinny and handsome, and I really appreciate you not doing my nose. But what you've done adult coloring books here, and you see the geometric design ones, very structured, supposed to relieve stress. I think that doing some of these would relieve stress indeed. I love the shot. Looks like Philip's shop at Offbeat, looking through vinyl.
Yeah, that one was actually the drawing for the flyer for Record Store Day.
Yeah,
which he asked me to design.
For Philip, I bet, right? Mm-hmm. Look at how I did that, huh? Wow.
Waiter, download now to have great local food delivered to your door.
Okay, Cristina, you ordered lunch. Our friends from Waiter just dropped this off while we were talking. I want to see what we have. Manship. So, why did you choose Manship?
I chose the Manship because it has that Mediterranean flair that I miss from being in Europe. Plus, I like the way they mix the American cuisine and the Mediterranean. I feel a little bit at home when I go there.
Wow, Cristina, you have killed it here. What do we have?
So I chose red fish with beets, roasted beets. I love this, and I don't think people eat them enough.
They don't come to my house. We eat a lot of them.
Well, it's always potatoes, and I think this is a great vegetable. Pasta, of course. My husband is Swedish Italian, and we eat a lot of pasta with seafood. He's from El Salento, which is a seafood place, and fresh shrimps and scampi and all that. And I heard that you are vegetarian, so since we just met, I wanted to keep it simple, and I ordered pizza margarita for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I hope everybody likes the choices.
This looks fantastic. And so all of this came from the Manship, which is a fantastic restaurant in downtown Jackson. They've been open for, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, that was before us, so a little bit longer.
And you're good friends with Alex.
Yes, I love working with Alex. He's great.
Yeah.
He's easy to work with, funny. He's a great guy.
Do you find, let me start dishing some stuff out here, and please, y'all help. Do you find that the chef community has a good camaraderie? Everybody gets along?
I think so, yeah. I think everybody, we pretty much all work well together. We all support each other, and I like that. That's the one thing that I had in Chicago actually, and then coming here was nice too, to also be able to connect with other chefs in the community.
I found that there's very little competition, and that's a lot of collaboration, and that we all like to compete, and we all want to get our customers, because we need to pay our bills. But so you're not in the business, but you are somebody who eats.
Oh, religiously.
And you're about to eat right now. So take a bite of this and tell me what you like about Jackson as a place to eat.
Well, the variety of places that you can eat. So, like she said, the food came from Manship, and they have mostly like Italian foods, but also Mediterranean, Italian. There's so many different choices here. So, I actually really love Salamukis.
I appreciate that. It's a great pizza place in town. I know a guy.
You know,
I know a guy. I'm thinking we might need something to drink with this. And it just so happens that is all part of the format of this magic show that I always want to ask a sommelier, somebody in the bar business, to come in and share a drink with us and something that'll match up well. So let me see if I might be able to find somebody who is in the... Let's see if somebody's waiting outside, shall we? I'm going to see. This is my friend Jonathan Webb.
Hey guys. Hey, good to see y'all.
You're the bar director at Fine and Dandy.
Fine and Dandy, that's right. For the drinking, I actually made a punch. I went a little classic. This is a French punch called a punch romaine. But I did put a southern twist on it. It's watermelon, it's summer, it's watermelon season, so there's some watermelon juice in here. A little bit of watermelon juice. So it's got some Sauvignon Blanc in there, and then fresh watermelon juice, a little bit of lemon, some bitters, and then we're gonna top it off with some bubbles, some cava, some Spanish cava. So also got some shaved ice in there since it is summertime, so a little bit like a granita. Thought it'd cool us off really nice. Everybody know how to open a bottle of champagne?
You know how to open a bottle of champagne?
Justin? So honestly not that tricky. So anyone can do this. The thing you gotta watch is you just don't want anything to blow off the top. So just always keep your thumb on top, and that's about it.
But if you have a plastic cork, first of all, you shouldn't have bought it, and secondly, it's never going to come out.
Right.
So that's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So you've made a cocktail, and now you're topping it off with a sparkling wine.
That's right, yeah. And this is
all part of kind of this new way of doing cocktails now, isn't it?
I don't even know if it's all that new. I mean, this is the classic preparation of this drink, which is from the early 1900s. This was something they were serving to French dignitaries, even had it on the Titanic, you know. So maybe it's bad luck. I don't know if we need to drink it. I don't know. There you go.
Who's having one of these?
Partaking. Here you go, Justin. Here we are.
Alrighty.
All right, and then I did bring something else along. So what I've done, Jeff, I know neither one of us drink. I made a shrub.
So that's a little known secret from this the first couple shots we did on the show. I was taking sips off the beer. And my friend said, "Jeff, you don't drink." And I said, I just took a sip.
It's fine. It's just a taste. In what I do for a living, I have to taste everything. So
what I'm finding, Jonathan, is I think the interesting thing that I'm watching about your trade, the bartenders, is very what you're doing right now. There's a focus on trying to create an experience within a glass that is a cocktail experience that isn't with alcohol in it.
Absolutely, for everyone. But yeah, definitely everybody deserves a chance to have fun. You know, drinks are a fun part of the whole dinner, the whole eating experience. And so if you don't have an option, you don't want people just to stick with water. And so yeah, it's more fun to have an option for everyone. So what I did was made a little shrub, which is just a traditional sweetener made out of actually apple cider vinegar. And I've used pineapple and jalapeno here. So it's still going to be kind of like a Sauvignon Blanc or like a wine. It's still got some earthy tones to it, but a little bit of that spice, a little bit of that fruitiness. There you go. Is that a spoon for me?
I'm thinking it may be. It's beautiful, the separation.
There's an even nicer spoon back behind you. Look at that.
Hello. There you go. So much like a Napoleon that you may make, being a layered dessert with the mousse and the cake and the whipped cream and if you're doing any kind of ganache or something like that, layered up, that drink and the drink that y'all had was kind of layered to start with. Again, visual presentation. I think that so many folks in the culinary business are really paying attention to what things look like, because we look with our eyes first, eat with our eyes first, and then we eat, right?
Right.
So look, wow.
Hey,
so maybe we can all say cheers to each other.
Yeah, salute. Cheers.
Right on. Here it goes.
I hear a lot of things about this city, but most of the time, it's not the city I know. To me, this city, our city, is a thing of beauty, of history, of symphony and energy, of sweet, salty, cool, of blues nights and satisfied appetites, at once radical and transformational, building up, bursting out, exploring, reinventing. Yeah, we have a ways to go. But what city doesn't? In our city, my city, we gather, we connect, and we work together so things like streets, schools, neighborhoods and communities, mom and pops and record shops, big buzzing industries and little French eateries can be made better, stronger, unstoppable, untoppable, survivors and thrivers, makers, shakers, dreamers and doers. City with heart, city with life, city with soul, Jackson. This is the city I know. This is our city. This is my city.
Don't know where he's going, but I'm stuck with the desserts, which makes me happy. So you explained in Italian. Tell me about these.
So these are, so this is an entremet, and these are called petit gâteaux, which in French means small cake. So it's technically the smaller version of entremets. And as well, these are also made with multiple layers of things, except for this one. This one, my mom is from Uruguay, so we also like to throw in other countries in there.
Then we have tango.
We have the tango, of course, because we're from Argentina.
Dulce de leche is in there as well.
It's 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 body. in the
Basically,
tango, right?
yeah, and a lot of intertwining. Yeah. We do play tango, and more of a.
Yeah, right now what's in is electronic tango.
And we play it up at the store, but in the kitchen we do drum and bass.
Tango music with lyrics, because tango is also very instrumental. It could be very instrumental. And growing up, I think when I listen to that now, it really brings memories from when we were in Argentina. And I think you can feel it in the flavor of the cakes, especially with so much dulce de leche in there.
Yes, very sweet.
Dulce de leche, the caramel flavor.
Yeah, the caramel. It's like the Europeans use a lot of Nutella. In Argentina, we put everything with dulce de leche. So that's our
We brush
equivalent.
our teeth with dulce de leche and everything.
Yeah.
Really?
No, not really.
Dennis must do really well there. So, it would be fascinating to see the two of you over at Salsa in Fondren, the dance studio that's right around the corner from you. That might be something they need to go do.
Not anytime soon.
Hi, my name is Chantel McQuarter, and this is Salsa Mississippi. I'm here with the owner.
Hi, I'm Himanshu Dave. And this is the place where the dancing for salsa begins. We really like everybody to come in and dance, and we are teaching dancing to absolute beginners to seasoned dancers. And this is a place where people come in and dance. Our studio has big glass panes. That's the best way for us to showcase what we are doing. People are walking by, they see us dancing, and a lot of times they are a little puzzled as to what's going on, and we love people to come and learn. And if you're a salsa dancer, you need to come back and take more lessons from Chantel, because she's a great instructor.
This one is a tango. It has dulce de leche mousse, chocolate cake, crunchy pearls, and caramelia ganache, which is a chocolate caramel ganache, and then a caramel glaze to top it off. Might seem sweet, but I like to balance the flavors. So if something's gonna be very sweet, like the dulce de leche, I try not to put so much sugar on.
That's absolutely delicious. On that pearl, it's a hard little.
Yeah, for a little
texture to
bit
it.
of crunch. So this one, it has, I like to call it Nutella latte tart.
There's a coffee bean on it, so you got a coffee thing going in there.
I do. It has coffee mousse, vanilla mousse, sort of like the foam of the latte. In the tart, it has Nutella mousse and a little bit of crunchy pearls, just to add a little bit of crunch in there.
But look what's inside.
Yeah. But it's happy once you put it in your mouth and start eating it.
Yeah.
This one, it's not so much about the layers.
It's just a beautiful strawberry cake in there.
It's just, very moist.
And you call this a chaca?
Chaja. Chaja, it's a bird. It's the name of a bird. Yes.
So they're birds. They're birds this color. They're birds that.
No, it's just a tribute to our mom, really.
Yeah. We do change up the flavors with the chaja, because the original one, the traditional one, is with dulce leche, of course.
I was gonna say, this is almost like one of those 3 milk cakes. It has
It's very moist. Yeah. I think it's a pastry
it's a huge
cream.
amount of moisture.
Tres leches, but no.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. Just
No, it's
made differently. That's all I meant. That's all I meant with
your nose at me on that. I understand that. This is artistry. I'm about to eat all this. I don't know what Justin's been up to. Is he? Oh, hello, Justin.
Hey, missed you.
Did you get a phone call?
I had an idea. I couldn't let it. I realized that if you let ideas get away from you, then they're gone forever.
Wow.
So I had an idea to do a culinary coloring book.
What
So
is
I'm gonna
that?
do a
Wow,
quick
that looks
sketch of
great.
everyone.
Show the. Oh, you cranked all that out just now.
Wow.
Show the
Impressive.
show the camera there. I got my picture. So besides the picture of us, and thank you, I think that all of us would like copies signed.
Yes,
because when it's worth a Picasso, we want to have that. So this you did a close up of the art. So
Here's another one. And you're gonna have to tell me the names so I can label everything.
Sure.
And I also want to try it.
Yeah.
Yes,
So this is a really interesting idea, a culinary cookbook for Jackson. Maybe this is a project that we could look into. The chef community being so close, that maybe there's a mashup that's possible here. So we were talking about, well, you're gonna love this when you get that. We were talking about the chef community and how well we get along. And I'm assuming the artist community is probably pretty open. You mentioned the mentors you had and Philip and the work that's going on in Midtown.
Right.
So what if we came up with the idea of a culinary coloring cookbook?
That's
Art
an amazing idea.
meets recipes, different restaurants, different recipes, different artists, different takes on art, but it's got to be a coloring book. Because it's got to be something that people get engaged with.
Yeah,
So it's not
yeah,
just
I
looking at a
tied
pretty
everything
picture,
up.
they've got to be able to stay within the lines of the art, but then they can change the recipe.
I like that, yes.
See if my Dan likes me? And y'all just thought I was another pretty picture, you know? Right? So one of the things we like to do in order to say goodbye and to bid everyone farewell, including ourselves, is ask that one of our guests give a toast of sorts. Justin, would you have something maybe to share?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so
I think so.
So creativity helped Jackson to continue to flourish.
Amen. To Jackson.
So one of the things that we like to make a lot at La Brioche are entremets and petit gâteaux. Within one dessert, you get many flavors and textures. It's almost like multiple desserts within one kind of thing. Also, the entremets come from, it's a typical French cake, and the French like to name their cakes with female names, sometimes their mothers and a loved one. I don't have kids myself, but I have a lot of friends who do, so I tend to grab other people's kids. Well, that sounds bad.
I know her well, and she doesn't abduct children.
Just more like honorary.
Exactly. You're an aunt. I happen to know that because I live around the corner from Cristina.
And this one happens to be one of my nieces. Her name is Natalie.